are live, and we are here with Zachariah Castillo from San Antonio, Texas. And we're going to talk all about today his venture in real estate and all the fantastic successes that he's having and what his goal is for 2017. So, Zach, welcome. Thank you so much for being on our show today.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
You're a phenomenon. I think you stood out to me very much when I came out and taught in San Antonio, and I've always been interested in what you're doing, and now you're one of my marketing clients, which is fantastic as well. So I've gotten to know you just a little bit better. So tell us how and why you got into real estate.
So I started off in 2011. I was in college. I went to Texas State University, and I saw real estate opportunities within the rental markets to do rental development. So at that time, my girlfriend, Mariana, her dad did real estate development. So we saw a cool project, started doing all the research to figure out how to make it work. In that process, I learned a lot about the real estate, and unfortunately, that project didn't actually pan out. So I had all this knowledge, and I found a broker locally in San Marcos, started doing the rental properties, property management, and apartment locating. And when I was there, I kept saying I want to make more money, and the broker I was with said you need to get into sales. And since then, it opened up my mind and realized there was no cap on the money I can make and the business opportunities that I could create, and that's where it all started.
So you got in for one purpose and then got led another way. So you were with another brokerage. When did you come over to Keller Williams?
I joined Keller Williams in 2013. So I was with them. I got licensed in 2012, and I did the apartment locating my last year of college. And then when I was getting married to my wife now, Mariana, we moved in the fall of 2013, and I knew for a fact Keller Williams was where I wanted to go.
Okay, so you came to Keller Williams in 2013, and did you say your wife, now wife, was licensed? She was licensed then with you?
No, she wasn't. She just did the property management with me, and then in that aspect, kind of when I started doing the sales, she was still doing real estate admin work. Didn't join our team until 2014, or actually, I'm sorry, 2015.
Okay, so she's licensed now.
Yeah, she's licensed now.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so I know of you guys as a husband and wife team. Tell me, what does your org chart look like? Who else is on your team? Is it just you two, or do you have other team members?
Yeah, we do have other team members. So there is a total of 6 of us. We have me as a listing agent and the CEO who runs the business. Mariana, she is our lead buyer agent and coaches and motivates our buyer agents as well. I have 2 more other buyer agents, Amanda and Daryl, who are under Mariana. And then I have 2 admin. I have a listing coordinator. Her name is Erica. She's actually my sister-in-law, so we are family business. She manages all my listings, and then I have a transaction manager, Jorge, which is also my family member. He is my brother-in-law. So it's Mariana's brother and sister who work with us. So it's kind of half family and half not family. But our whole business is basically our work family, which is awesome.
You know, isn't that interesting? I love the whole concept of spouses working together and family working together. Have you found any special challenges or advantages to working with family?
You know, we've run into where we never know when to turn it off. So, I mean, I went on a ski trip this past weekend with my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and, you know, we still talk about work. And my father-in-law, he's in real estate too. He does real estate development and builds custom homes. So we find that it's hard to turn it off. We'll go on vacations together, and we just keep talking about it. I love it because it's, you know, we're always talking about work and always talking about how we can improve. The only unfortunate part is when we do go on vacations, half the team goes on vacation because we go on family vacations. So it does make it hard to manage a team. However, we've learned the systems and tools to and hired outside people to help manage it while we're gone. But I do love it. There's really not really any negatives that I could say.
We have the same challenge. We're almost all well. It's funny because we're almost all family now, running the marketing company, and even our person that builds our real estate websites, that builds the structure of them in Kentucky happens to be my sister's son's wife's mother.
Oh wow.
So even that one wound up being family. But you're right. It's every holiday or every vacation we all go together and we're like, oh my gosh, who's gonna be at home running everything? So it's
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, so you got in 2013. Did you have, I know this isn't on your question list, I'm glancing over. Did you have some advantage with her? You said both your parents in real estate?
Mariana's father is in real estate. He
Her father.
does the building, yeah.
Okay. So did you have, do you feel like you had any advantages with that or any other advantages coming in, or do you feel like you had any disadvantages entering the world of real estate?
Um, that's a good question. I mean, with what he was doing, I've realized quality of construction. That was really one thing that helped a lot because when I go into houses, and especially going to listings and helping buyers, there's little details I can find and say, texture of walls and specific finish outs. I can actually show and express my knowledge on how, if it's someone's paying top dollar for, cheap finish out, I can let them know because I can easily see it. So that's one of the biggest things. And I've, built a house with my father-in-law, so I've gone through that whole building process.
There's a
We've
lot of
done.
new construction in San Antonio.
Yes, it is. It is growing. I mean, we were at our team meeting yesterday. 150 people a day are moving to San Antonio, and there's just not enough people to fill up the jobs. So a lot of new construction is going out.
Are you focusing on that? Are you doing any kind of, I mean, based on what you just said, you have such a niche there with knowing that market. And
Mhm.
I don't know about you personally, I love to sell new construction because they do a
It's
lot of
easy.
that work, and we get higher commissions even sometimes as well. So I
Yeah.
love new construction. Are you targeting yourself that way? Are you ranking for the home builders or doing any of that kind of stuff yet?
That's great. I'm not actually targeting it, and I probably should start targeting it because we do a lot of new construction, not only with the family business, but also we push it because have good relationship with builders. So, I mean, if we look at our pendings right now, we have a lot of pendings for the future of this year because they are building their home. So I've never thought about that. So it's definitely a good option to kind of focus on that.
I'm a big believer in niche marketing, finding what you do, what you excel at, what you can become a specialist in, and then marketing yourself that way and creating slogans and taglines and all kinds of things around that. I think you have a huge advantage already knowing that. And a lot of people are Googling new homes. They Google new homes with a pool. Literally, they'll go to the search engine and type in new homes in San Antonio with a pool or with large backyard or with certain types of features. So if you could come up when they type those kind of things, and they also search by builder, they'll search new homes in a zip code or new homes around a location. So you can really take that and run with it. I think it's big, and I'm watching in all of the. I know we do your pay-per-click marketing for you as well. In a lot of the pay-per-click strategies that we're doing, we're seeing new homes. They're competitive, so they're higher price clicks typically,
Mhm.
but we're seeing a lot of really strong leads come in from new home construction. So something to think about.
Oh,
We'll have to look at your
definitely.
account and see if we're doing any of that. All right, so tell me what you believe is, well, let's talk about your success for a little bit for a second.
Okay.
So 2013 you got in.
Mhm.
What month was it when you got in?
I got in August of 2013.
Okay, so towards the end of the year. So 2014, what was your production?
For 2014, it was my first full year. I did close 5 million in volume. It was about
Wow.
20 deals. Yeah.
What was your lead source then?
At that time, I was on a team, so I was a buyer agent, and a lot of it was utilizing my team lead's sphere. She had a really great sphere and had really good opportunities, as well as just my sphere as well too. I got some of my good friends who were buying homes and doing open houses, and just I actually kind of didn't even know what I was doing that first year. I just said, whoever wants to buy a house, I'm ready to help them buy.
That's
So,
all.
but the biggest source of business was sphere.
Okay, fantastic. So 2015 then, what did you do?
2015, that's when opened up my own team, and that's when my wife joined. We did just a little bit under $10 million, literally like $100 away from 10 million. And we did 44 transactions. And that source was, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was the Sphere was really what helped generate that, which I didn't really think that was going to be possible since we were very young. And I didn't think any of my friends or my family would want to buy and sell, but I was actually wrong. They almost all of them bought and sold.
Isn't that funny how we put those limiting beliefs on ourselves as to what
Yeah.
people will or won't do? So, okay, so that was 2015. So then 2016, last year?
2006. Yeah, we doubled it, and we actually did a little bit more. We closed 22 million, and we closed 113 transactions.
Wow, holy cow. So you did over 100 transactions in your third year.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what would you say is the reason for your success in this?
A lot of it is it goes down to the basics. I was ingrained when I first started my first team that I have to prospect at least 3 hours a day. Now, what does that look like? It's me just getting on the phone and cold calling. That's all I knew was cold calling, expireds for sale by owners, circle calling. So that's what I just always knew. And so when I started building the team, I've ingrained that to all my agents' brain as well too. And it's not straight cold calling. We do a lot of our internet marketing, and I know with you guys managing it, you guys are bringing us a lot of leads, and so that's giving a lot of opportunity for our agents to be calling all these leads. And that's what we do every morning is we just focus on calling and making sure that we are able to create a good follow-up plan and get these leads, either if they're going to buy, sell, or if they're going to be in the future, get them as in a nurture plan. So really, it's just doing the activities of calling people.
Okay, so we're generating leads for you, and then you're cold calling. Are you calling the leads that we're generating, or are you also calling lists or?
Yeah, we're doing everything. So we're doing, with us, there's 4 active sales agents. Each agent is doing a different source every day. So like today I called for sale by owners, and then some of my other team members were calling, the internet leads. So we have a schedule of, who's going to be calling which source of leads. So with us being, getting bigger and bigger, we're increasing those sources, increasing those lists as well too, just so that we can expand as much as possible.
Okay, so on your, by the way, San Antonio, holy cow, your market is incredible right now.
Yes, yes.
I had lunch with a girl from San Antonio. I don't know if she's from your office or not, but who's actually Keller Williams' agent that was just down here visiting Las Vegas, and we had lunch, and I was telling her the same thing. I said, oh my gosh, it is like out of everything that I've looked at recently and touched just with all of my clients and exploration, San Antonio, there's just something happening there that's incredible. So you have such a playground right now for, I know for web leads. What is it like when you're calling for sale by owners? Is for sale by owners your only source, or did you say you call
expireds as well too, expireds and cancels, and
are people answering their phones? Are you finding it?
Yeah, they are. There is a 10% answer rate when we're calling expireds and for sale by owners.
Rate?
Yes. So I mean,
I've ever heard that. That's fascinating.
Yeah. So and it's been pretty consistent. So I factor in if I want to hit my 20 contacts every single day, I need to call at least 200 numbers, and I will get 10% of them answering. So my personal goal is 200 to 250 dials a day, and that's actually any type of list. I'm focusing either if it's my expireds, it's my follow-ups, it's internet leads. I just want to dial 250 numbers because I know I'll get my 20 contacts.
I wonder, have you ever measured what the answer rate is for the web leads that you're getting, or are you just grouping them all together?
I'm grouping them all together, but I can actually I can look in that because I know with our dialer system I can filter it by list and see which ones are.
I would love that. You know me, yeah. I love my data. I would love to know what the response rate is. So my experience was, so you don't have any inside sales agents. You guys are doing all the prospecting yourself.
I did have a couple, and then we had some team changes, but we're actually bringing on another one. So it's definitely important to have that person when you're getting this amount of leads. So
it's tough because I brought in an inside sales agent, and I had him working for 2 years, and it did not increase our conversion. And it was fascinating to me watching and observing and knowing things like that answer rate make a difference because My guess is, and part of it is it just wasn't enough dials, too much conversation maybe with who we were reaching and not enough dials to get there. But knowing that answer rate, how can you fail if you know that you want to get to 20 contacts that day and you know you have a 10% answer rate? Don't you just know you have to call? You have to make those 200 dials no matter what happens. How long does that take to make 200 dials? You're using what software are you
It's
using?
funny because it depends on the list. Mondays, surprisingly, the answer rate is very high. Don't know why. I think it's, every Monday I come in, I can hit 20 contacts in an hour. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it's always really weird. It's Mondays, and especially to the first of the month, because you get a lot of the fresh new expireds that expired that month. So that first day and that Monday, usually they start off really high. Like today, it took me a while. I did dial about 200 dials, and I only got 15 contacts. So that 10%, and it's an average, but that took me about 2 hours. So it's really going to depend on the list. Now, one of my other agents this morning, she was calling just we call qualifies. They are leads, internet leads that just have never answered, and we still call them every single day. She called in like within 30 people, she talked to already 10 people. Like that was a really great answer, and she booked 4 appointments today. It was really awesome. So it's really going to depend on the list. If you have the fresh new inquiries, then they're going to answer really quickly. If they're older ones, the answer rate will be a lot larger.
Okay, so do you have anybody on your team that has your website open that is calling people when they're logging on to search the IDX, to
Yes.
look at real estate listings? I have
Yes,
found
as soon
that
as they register, like we're on the phone within like as soon as possible.
because I had one recently, and it was interesting because I had the panel open and I was watching who was logging in, and I had one that he logged on, so I looked up to find out what his information was, and we had put him in a rental earlier in this was actually last year, so it was towards the end of the year. We had put him in a rental towards the beginning of the year, but it had only been like 6 months, 7 months time frame, so I wasn't sure why he was already shopping. So I really quickly, I don't call. Anybody knows me knows I don't pick up the phone, but I text. So I sent him a text really quick and said, "Hey, has something changed with your real estate needs?" And he said, "Yes, I'm actually ready to buy, and I'm okay with buying out my lease." So he came, I believe he came into some money or something, and suddenly had this ability. If I never ever would have followed up with that guy. I put him in a rental. Why would I have even thought to follow up with him 6 or 7 months later? If I hadn't happened to see him sitting there logging on to the IDX and reached out to him, I never would have had that opportunity. So I love that piece of actually watching for that
Yeah.
engagement.
Yeah, and a great example too, like today I was going through like our old leads, and I can see when the last time they've been on the website was, and I just filter that out and say there's been people on the website in the past 24 hours. They're in the archive and trash category. Let's just see if maybe they were lying to us when they said that it really wasn't their name when I called, and we just recall them and see if something might change. You
Are
just
you
never
doing
know.
text yet? Are you doing
Yeah,
text?
we're doing text as well too. A lot of our conversions, we're running into a lot of the millennials, and a lot of millennials, they don't want to talk, and it's fine, I understand. So we are converting on text messages as well. Um,
Millennials don't want to talk. 45-year-old women don't want to talk either. We got to text us too. Text or
yeah,
Facebook, right? It's
yeah,
really, it's not just the millennials. It's I think our whole age has gotten to the point where we
yeah,
all want to avoid everything, and we want to put up a sort of a filter and not engage until the time to engage is there. If I walk
that's
into a
very true.
store and somebody immediately runs over to me and says, "Hey, can I help you?" I'm like, "Just leave me alone." But I want them there when I'm ready to buy that television and I have questions, right?
That's true,
That's
and you want them right away too. You want them to answer quickly. So that's utilizing the right systems and technology so that you can get notified quickly is very important.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So tell me your top three sources for, now I'm going to ask this, you can answer this however you want to answer it.
Okay.
Top three sources of business is the way I phrase the question, but it's interesting because my top three sources of leads are not the same top three sources. Well, actually they are the same top, but the top number one of leads is not the top number one of closings.
That's
So
true. Yes.
what do you have for me, the top three leads or top three closed business?
Well, I'll do close because it goes into a little bit of the leads as well because my number one is fear. I I don't focus on it enough to realize that it is there right now. No, that's our number one source this year. It was last year. So it is an aha every year
When you say
to
number
continue.
one source, do you know what percentage by any chance?
It's about 60% is the of the sphere.
Good. That's a
Yeah,
nice, healthy, good business. I like that.
it is. Yeah, and it's easier too, which is nice. Um,
Yeah.
the second one is internet. As I love technology and I focused a lot on internet and finding the ways and following you and the coaching that you've done, utilizing those techniques to have internet. And then the third one is agent referrals. We're on the Facebook groups, we're everywhere looking and creating those relationships. And then we're proving ourselves to these real estate agents that when they have referrals from other agents in their market center, those people are calling us. They're not going to Facebook and posting on the referral groups. They're saying so and so told me I need to talk to you because you sold their referrals house or you helped them buy a house. And that's been the third highest source of business too.
I will tell you, gosh, I could talk for an hour just on the top, well, or a day on the topic of agent referrals. That is my number one, is agent to agent referrals. That's my number one. Everybody thinks it's all web leads because of how many web leads I generate. And my number one source of leads is web leads. The number one source of closing is agent to agent referrals. Now, the tricky thing about that, Zachariah, and you probably already have seen this,
Hmm.
is figuring out that cost of sale in a
Hmm.
business. It's going to be 1/3 agent to agent referrals, right? If that's if it's probably 1/5. You probably have two other sources of business in there, but let's just
Hmm.
say it's high. Your cost of sale is now immediately 25 to 30% of every deal that comes in. Now, let me ask you a question if you don't mind,
Yeah,
and
of course.
if you're not comfortable, you don't have to tell me. How do you guys handle that on a team? So when they come to my team, I'll just share with you, and
Hmm.
let's say it's a 25% referral. We pay the agent off the top of the total, and then my split comes off, and his split, the agent's split comes off after we've paid that other agent.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
how
how
we
you
do it as
do
well
it?
too. Yeah, we'll go in and we'll pay the agent based on the off the top, and then after that, it's a split between whatever's left over.
Which is the way I like to do it, because it actually, instead of it being a 25% cost of sale, it comes down a little bit because you and the agent are actually both
Exactly.
paying out that referral side. So when I sit down and do my yearly projections, I'll group it into regular sales, the projection of how many units we want to do, and then on another side I do referrals, because it's going to be a
Mhm.
different cost of sale. Now, you still have cost of sale attached to any of your lead generation
Yeah.
activities, pay-per-click, and your marketing strategy. So it's not necessarily saying that's higher than everything else, but it has to be figured in and calculated, because it does change. Like, my average commission on a real estate agent referral is going to come down probably $1,000 a commission,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so, and your house, are you guys like about the 230, 240 average
Yeah.
price range?
Yeah. It's 235 is what this past month was. So yeah, we're looking right around the same as well too.
Yeah, so if we've got a $6,000 commission, although no commission is standard, commission is always negotiable. Let's just
Yes.
say we have a $6,000 standard, you're going to have a $1,500 come right off the top to that other
Hmm.
agent. And so you have to figure that when you're figuring out your projections and your budget and those types of things.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
great business. I mean, it's such a huge business. And the nice thing about that side too is it's scalable. The more
Mhm.
you get known, the more you guys are out there. Mariana's in the social groups,
Hmm.
beautiful woman, very popular. Very does it very well. I like seeing her out there. Does lots of promo, taking lots of pictures of you and all that good stuff. You guys could scale that quite easily. So then the key is scaling the other two at the same time, so that this one,
Yeah.
what
Doesn't
happened
just keep
to me is
falling.
that
Yeah.
at one time became like 90% of my businose for a period of time, and then
Yeah.
then, then you have to kind of adjust those, right? All
Yeah,
right,
and what's
so
funny is when are doing those agent referrals, I've had a couple where those referrals, I've actually already found us on the internet, and they're somehow we're an old lead, and then it's just a funny coincidence when they do match up, and it's like, oh, they registered on our website like a year ago, and they're already looking at something, and they already know our name, they've already seen it, they might have forgotten, but when they see it, and again, it's just another reassurance that, you are the best team to work with.
yep, it's a supporting cause. One is the source of the lead, and the other is the supporting cause that got them to
Yeah.
actually pull the trigger. I love it. All right, so when you say internet, I know you're doing pay-per-click with my company, Ballen Brands. What else are you doing on the internet?
The other is Facebook. I'm doing Facebook advertising that I learned exactly from you when you came
Oh,
to San
perfect.
Antonio.
So is that a growing piece of your business, Facebook?
It's a growing piece. I'm getting more into it. I've increased the budget and I'm getting more intelligent about it and we're really watching the cost per click, turning off ads when they're too expensive, changing in photos, changing in terminology. I'm really focusing on getting that solid and where I can easily teach someone how to do it and they can manage it easily. Um, but I love it. It's one of the best things, and it's another way of being touching your sphere, because your sphere do see it, and they see that you are doing business, and they know that you're still active, and you're touching them in the. Oh, sorry. Hold on, really quick.
Somebody shut the lights out. That's awesome.
Sorry, I have a sensor light at the office. But with the Facebook ads, you're still touching your sphere and being in top of mind, which it's hitting two birds with one stone.
Yeah, so that Facebook advertising is kind of like my little private obsession. I don't talk about it nearly as much as I want to because I'm testing and measuring, improving, trying to prove some formulas.
Hmm.
Just this morning, I went on and did a carousel ad with 5 different types of homes. So I've got, one is horse property, one is homes with pools, and one is single story, and one is cheap houses. And I've got a split testing. This one's going to everybody in Las Vegas. This one's going to people that either rent or have lived in their home for a certain amount of time. And then I'm testing each one because the higher the relevance score, the more we've reached that demographic target, the actually we might even pay more cost per click, but we pay less cost per lead.
That's true.
Everybody's
Yeah,
so obsessed with that cost per click, but if you actually pay attention to your cost per lead, sometimes you'll actually pay more per click, but it'll come out lower per lead because it's got a better lead capture because
that's
you're
true.
better targeting that audience. So I love that whole topic as well. All right, so just for the sake of time, what advice would you give to a growing real estate agent today? I know you said your 2017 goal is 50 million, right? How many units is
Yeah,
that?
that is 222.
Holy cow. That's how many units we have to do in these lower priced areas. It's funny, I've got
Yeah.
friends in Washington, they're laughing at me going, gosh, Lori, 5 year commissions is a down payment on our house, on our houses. All right, so what advice would you give to somebody that wants to do 200 units
Um, First
or
and
wants
foremost,
to do five?
yeah, I mean, it really starting off with the sphere. I never realized it in the beginning, and I have a business coach, and he gets on me all the time. Call your sphere, and that's the cheapest business. It doesn't cost you anything to call your friends. You didn't have to pay for them to be your friend or your family. So utilizing them, and then after that, as you start bringing in that business, track where your business is coming from because one thing I didn't do is go into the details of where is my business coming from. And when I went back and I did my 2014 and went back to see where did my business come from, that's when I realized, wow, I actually did have a lot of sphere. And if I would have known that in the beginning, I really would have, got that limiting belief that no one's going to want to buy, no one's going to want to sell that I know, and I would have invested more money into that. And then the last thing is invest in yourself. I got a business coach within my first year. I go, to your events, anything that I can learn from other real estate agents, I'll pay for. Keller Williams offers a lot of things, and they're in Austin, which is only an hour and a half away. So if I can go to it, I'm going to. But investing in myself is meaning it's the best investment I can do because it's just causing me to learn more and improve in the techniques that really work the best.
Well, your growth in production year over year is showing how well you really are doing um, with investing in yourself, and your growth is coming from that. So when I just looked down, there's a slew of questions, and I got so caught up in my own questions that somebody wants to know, where do you get your FISBO and expired phone numbers from?
I get that from Vulcan 7. They're a lead provider. It's $2.99 a month. You set it up and they send it to you every single day.
Okay, and I guess that's a lot they were all asking that same question. All right, what courses or books do you recommend for anybody to read?
One of my favorite books is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. I'm not sure if you've read that one, but it's a life-changing book, and it's a book you can read every quarter. It just talks about doing the grunt work that you don't really want to do, but it's very easy to do it, but it's also easy not to do it. And it's just making those little split decisions every morning when you wake up and when you're going throughout the day. It really changed the way I think for both personally and business with my health and professional side.
And by the way, you look amazing. How much weight did you lose?
I've actually, I mean, I think the last time I saw it's been around 10 pounds, and being around the same, but I've been working out, and I can actually feel my muscle growing, and I can
Only
get,
10 pounds since the first time I saw you in San
yeah,
Antonio?
only 10 pounds, but
Wow,
my
your
muscle, the
whole
muscle
body,
has grown. Yeah,
everything's changed.
yeah,
That's incredible. Look what 10 pounds can do, you guys, when it's muscle instead of potato chips.
yeah. And then for courses, Keller Williams offers Bold, and I've taken it 8 times already, and I'll be taking it again this year. And it's just that's what I live and breathe. Everything that I talk about, it's my listing presentation, that's my buyer presentation, it's my lead generation schedule. That's been how me and my team have been operating.
Somebody asked again, the name of that book was The Slight Edge.
Yes, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson.
Okay. And somebody wants to know, who is your role model?
Great question. So I have a lot of role models. One of them right now, he's a very big one, and I think you're actually friends with Ben Kinney. He's a great role model, and I've never really met him. I've only talked to him like a couple of times, but I don't think he knows who I am. But I'm I just love the way that he thinks, and I love the technology business he's building, and love that he doesn't think about himself. He thinks about the masses, and he's a guy who actually does, what he says he's going to do, and he actually is a humble guy. So he's one of my role models, and then my other one is my first broker, Jason Tarr. He's the guy who introduced real estate to me, and he wouldn't have, if I would have never met him, I would have never been the guy I am today.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know the second one, but absolutely I agree to Ben Kinney. It's funny because I always say to my team, I use Ben Kinney a lot in my examples, and I think he's absolutely my favorite person in the industry to look up to, because of not only is he doing big things in real estate, owns a ton of market centers, top expansion team all across the world. I think he's in London now with a team there as well. He's such a giver and gives back to everybody, and always makes time. So definitely, if you get a chance to ever be with Ben, you're going to want to take that opportunity.
Yes, of course.
One other note on the tracking that you brought up, I wanted to tell everybody, what are you using now for tracking? Do you have any software or anything special you're doing?
Right now, our market center, they pay for CTE, that they utilize that as for like our whole business. But everything else, I'm utilizing a lot of tools like the Google Analytics, Facebook Business, and then I'm a spreadsheet junkie, and I just create my own spreadsheets and I throw them all in there.
I was just going to say I'm a spreadsheet junkie as well, and although I have super intense tracking systems, a lot of which we've built out ourselves with Infusionsoft and Click Data Reporting, there is nothing like a good old spreadsheet. So if you guys are starting off and you've heard Zach's recommendation of start tracking, the easiest way to start is to open a spreadsheet. I like Google Docs because it's in the cloud and I can do it anywhere, it's easy and it's free, or Google Spreadsheets. And all you have to do is start every time you get a lead of any kind, put the name, and next to it put what the source was. Now here's the way I did it. I took all of my sources and put them all in column headers. Okay, so Facebook, Google, sphere of influence, expired, for sale by owner, whatever it was, and then I would just tick off, to put a little one, put a little one, put a little one when you get a lead in that category, and then make it a number 2, make it a number 3, and then put the people's names on a list somewhere so you know what their source is if you don't have an actual database that you're logging it in. Before you know it, all of a sudden you're going to look down and go, oh my gosh, these were my leads, and then do the same thing when you close. So let's say you close a deal with Mary Smith and she buys a house. You go back to your spreadsheet, you find Mary Smith, go, oh, okay, Mary Smith was a Facebook ad. Wow, I didn't even know that I actually got something good from that. How much did I spend? Okay, I spent $500 that entire time, so I got one closing, so technically $500 would be my cost of lead for that sale if nothing else ever came from that. But it's like you said, we base our decisions on emotion so often. We go, oh, I'm getting all these leads from Facebook. This is where all my business is coming from. But then you sit down, you look at your closings, go, yeah, I didn't do so well. It's actually a very small part of my business. Sphere of influence is my primary business.
Exactly.
And then you know where to put your focus and where to put your dollars and where to put your energy and where to project for the next year when you're actually taking the time to do that, right?
Yep, and then what's nice is, and then when you get enough data, you can know if something's performing at an optimal rate or not. We can grab an ad, and if I know we might be getting a lot of leads, but if my team is telling me that they're not good leads, then I know, well, I'm gonna turn that ad off and focus on another ad, because you gotta just keep track of everything that's happening.
Well, yeah, a perfect example of that too is one of the terms that I rank for on the search engines incredibly high, and it's a huge part of my traffic, is cheap houses in Las Vegas. Now, I'm just going to tell you right out of the gate, those are the worst leads. and some of it's still worth having because I get investors that come out of there. You know, sometimes people are wanting to flip houses, they want to buy multiple fixer-uppers. But most of the case in my market, it's people that really want to buy $50,000 houses and also can't qualify.
Oh, sorry.
So if I were to go on to this to pay-per-click, I would not want to spend my money on cheap houses on pay-per-click when I've seen what it returns me on organic. However, on organic, horse properties is my #1 closing page on my website. And so I would want to go spend my money on pay-per-click because I know that it's proving over here. So when you're tracking that kind of stuff, you know where you can spend your dollars, no matter
exactly.
So is there anything I didn't ask you today? What should I have asked you that I didn't?
That's a great question. I would say, you know, what's the next plan? You know, as we keep going, where do I see myself in 5 years? And expansion, that's where I've been learning is eventually you do get into a market with your city that you do start hitting a wall, because it does get hard to keep doubling your business every year in one city. So I want to keep doubling every year, and the only way I'll be able to do that is through expansion. So expanding into the Texas cities, and then potentially being like, you know, Ben Kinney, where he has multiple cities, and even Cody Gibson, who has like 20 expansion teams, and just being everywhere. I want to be everywhere. And I want to do that as quick and as possible, but as well as in a smart way.
I think you can do it, and my favorite thing about you, I think so far, especially after this interview, is how well you know your business and how well you know your numbers. And it sounds like you're really putting a system into place that will be duplicable when you go into another market, because you're going to know your stats, you're going to know your numbers, and you got a team building a strong hub, which is what makes expansion possible, because you expand with admin and with leads, and it sounds like you're strong in those areas. So everybody, if you have a referral, Zachariah and Mariana, I'm not going to try to roll my tongue because I will butcher it. Castillo would love your referrals in the San Antonio area, I assume. Where can they find you to send business your way?
They can reach me on my personal cell phone. I always give my personal out at 210-854-7894, or our website too, mysanantoniohomeguide.com. We monitor that like crazy, so if you put an inquiry, we'll be calling you within about 5 to 10 minutes.
All right, fantastic. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Zach, thank you. You were fantastic, and I'd love to revisit with you later. Maybe we can drill down a little bit more on Facebook strategies or your prospecting activities that you're doing. So there's a bunch more questions in here after the fact. Doesn't have to be so. All right, well, thank you for joining me today. And are you going to be at Mega Camp in Austin?
I will, and then anytime I'm in Vegas, I'll make sure I reach out to you.
All right, we'll see you guys in Austin. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Fantastic day.